70th General Assembly of the Council of Ministers meeting of the Cocoa Producers Alliance, Copal, was held in Accra, the capital city of the Republic of Ghana. The 5-day conference held at the Accra Conference Center attracted over 200 delegates from most of the cocoa producing countries around the world. The Cocoa Producers Alliance, Copal, is an intergovernmental organization instituted in January 1962 by representatives of the government of 5 cocoa producing countries in the city of Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Copal is guided by the Abidjan Charter. There are currently 10 member countries, namely Brazil, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Dominican Republic, Gabon, Ghana, Malaysia, Nigeria, Sao Tome and Principe, and Togo. The member countries of the alliance account for approximately 75% of the total world cocoa production. The conference was officially opened by Mr. Isaac Osei, Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, representing Ghana, the host country, under the chairmanship of Mr. Ibrahim Naib. In his welcome address, Mr. Osei had this to say:
I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate the importance that Ghana attaches to the work of the Alliance. We therefore consider the deliberations of this meeting and the reports, decisions and recommendations that will emerge as critical steps in the formulation of policies and joint action programs that would guide the Alliance in the realization of our common objectives. Over the past years, the Alliance has been able to provide good leadership and a clear vision for the collective well-being of member countries. It is hoped that this sense of purpose would be sustained in the coming years to confront the challenges that we in the Alliance face as producers. We must remember that millions of cocoa producers who depend on the commodity for their sustenance are looking up to us for a better standard of living, as their incomes are subjected to instability on the world cocoa market. It is necessary for members of the Alliance to pool resources and exchange information, conduct research, and initiate programs to address our common problems. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to remind delegates here that for us in Ghana, the smallholder cocoa farmer is the bedrock of our cocoa economy, and we should all strive to empower him economically so as to assure him of a sustainable livelihood. Once again, a special welcome to our first-time visitors. And let me say that I am quite confident that you will all enjoy your stay with us in Accra.
After the welcome address by Ghana, the Secretary General of Copal, Mr. Sona Ibai, was invited to give the draft agenda for the 5-day conference. In his outline, Mr. Ibai mentioned the point in the draft agenda to include the adoption of the minutes from the 69th General Assembly held in La Côte d'Ivoire in 2006, discussion of matters arising from minutes from the 69th General Assembly, organization of work and schedule of committee meetings at the conference, which include the formation of committees to deliberate on issues such as promotion, economic, scientific research and admin and finance of Copal. Statutory matters which include the election of officers such as chair, vice chair and auditors, and also the distribution of votes amongst members. Agreement on date and venue for the 71st General Assembly, just to mention a few. After the General Secretary's presentation of the agenda, the chairman asked the delegates to give their opinion or adopt the minutes from the 69th Assembly. Ghana moved for the adoption of the minutes from the 69th Assembly and adoption of the agenda for the 70th General Assembly.
In the absence of any further amendments to the agenda proposed, we will move for the adoption of the agenda to guide our deliberations.
This move was seconded by Nigeria. The Secretary General on the matters arising from the minutes of the 69th meeting of the General Assembly asked for redress of the discussion in the minutes regarding the accommodation of the Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General of Copal.
Discussed in the 39th General Assembly that we would have liked to get an update was the issue of accommodation of the headquarters of the Secretariat. So maybe you'll be kind to ask the delegation of Nigeria to update the General Assembly on that particular issue. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. May I call on the Nigerian delegation to give us an update concerning the residential accommodation for the Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General of Copal?
The houses are being illegally occupied by the current occupants, and steps have been taken by government to get them ejected. So right now, as I'm talking, there has been a very strong eviction order given to the authorities to get those illegal occupants out of the houses.
The plenary session of the General Assembly ended with the election of officers and distribution of votes amongst members.
The status of the rest of the members for 2007-2008 therefore would be Dominican Republic Chairman, Togo Vice Chairman, Malaysia Internal Auditor, Brazil, Cameroon, Sao Tome and Principe, Gabon, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria as members. Finally, the General Assembly may wish to express and put on record their sincere gratitude for the outgoing Bureau for a job well done during the 2006-2007 Cocoa year. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
The first committee session to meet was the Scientific Research Committee. This committee is created as a statutory committee of Copal charged with functions including examining scientific matters as they relate to production, disease and pest management or control, storage, quality, alternative uses of cocoa or byproduct as well as substitutes. The committee is composed of researchers from all the member states of the Alliance whose activities cover the different disciplines of cocoa research.
The Scientific Research Committee of the Cocoa Producers Alliance met in Accra, Ghana on the 8th of October 2007 under the chairmanship of Dr. Yao Eduampoma, Executive Director of Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana, sitting in for the chairman of the committee, Dr. J.L. Pereira, coordinator of international projects at CEPEC or CEPLAC, who was absent. The meeting was opened by Dr. Yao Eduampoma. This was followed by adoption of agenda on document CPA SRC 7001. This agenda was adopted without any amendments. Followed on was the report of the holding for the 15th International Cocoa Research Conference on document CPA SRC 7002 presented by Dr. Coulibaly from the Secretariat. The Secretariat presented a report on the 15th International Cocoa Research Conference held in San Jose, Costa Rica from the 9th to the 14th of October 2006 with the theme Cocoa Productivity, Quality, Profitability, Human Health and Environment. The committee took note of report and congratulated the Secretariat for a job well done. This was followed on by the report on the 16th International Cocoa Research Conference on document CPA SRC 7003, which contained a report on the level of preparations of the 16th International Cocoa Research Conference to be held in 2009 in Bali, Indonesia. The committee was informed of the preparedness and the level of commitment of the Indonesians to host the conference. The committee recommended that the Secretariat should take advantage of this opportunity to encourage Indonesia to become members of the Alliance. They further urged the Secretariat to take steps at making Costa Rica join the Alliance. Next to be read was the report on the workshop on the improvement of cocoa quality in producing countries held in Abidjan on 16th of July 2007 on document CPA SRC 7004. The committee took note of the report and made the following recommendations. Copal should define parameters for international standards on quality for uniformity. Members were also urged to participate massively in Codes Alimentarios meetings so as to influence decisions regarding quality. Producers should take into consideration measures taken by the European Union regarding pesticide residues being above undesirable levels, as this can also be detrimental to the health of producers. Producers should dictate the terms of reference on quality control in their various countries for institutional capacity in order to face the challenges on total quality control. Regional projects to control swollen shoot disease in West Africa in countries such as Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana and Togo was the next report read by Dr. Coulibaly on document CPA SRC 7005. Here he gave an update on the project to control swollen shoot disease. The committee took note of the problem of swelling shoe disease in West Africa, which greatly threatens the sustainability of cocoa farming within the sub-region, and encouraged the Secretariat to continue with the ongoing effort to make the project take off as soon as possible to reduce the devastating effect of this disease in the sub-region. Copal member countries were asked to facilitate the participation of researchers in the various activities of the Scientific Research Committee. Item 7 on the agenda was the update on the implementation of member countries of recommendations from the workshops on scientific research organized by the Secretariat on document CPA-SRC 1706. The report based on this document was on the level of implementation of recommendations and previous workshops organized since 2004 by the Scientific Research Department of the Secretariat. The committee, realizing that there has been no update by members on these issues, made the following recommendations: that the Secretariat should come up with and circulate to members a synthesized document on the above, as this will form the basis of a meeting dedicated to deliberate the level of implementation of the said recommendations by each country. Examination and adoption of the Scientific Research Committee's activity was the next report to be read by Dr. Copal for 2006-2007 on document CPA-SRC 1707. This was then followed by the examination and adoption of the Scientific Research Department's Program of Activity for 2007-2008 on document CPA-SRC 1708. The committee recommended that the meeting on the creation of the Cocoa Network, CORAF or Copal, be included in the new program as it did not take place the previous year. The committee also recommended that the meeting on the level of implementation of the 4 previous workshops recommendations be included in this year's program of activities. The scientific committee also noted Cote d'Ivoire's candidacy to hold a workshop on contaminants scheduled for the period April-May 2007. After all the reports had been read by Dr. Copal, the next step was the adoption of the report.
The Scientific Research Committee is to support Copal members in their various research activities that they are doing. They have to put policies in place such that they can come out with good research proposals, good research programs, and also collaborate in the field of research such that they can come out with very good innovations for the farmer to benefit. Basically, this is what they do. And in order to be able to achieve this, they organize various conferences and workshops for the workers in the research institutions to meet and deliberate on issues, interact with each other, exchange ideas so that they can do efficient research work.
Still on the first day of the proceedings at the Copal General Assembly, delegates from the Industries Promotion Committee came together bringing to each other's attention important issues in regard to the promotion of cocoa worldwide. The Promotion Committee is created as a statutory committee of Copal charged with functions including initiating, monitoring and reviewing a promotion program, recommending to the General Assembly where appropriate the means of funding projects under the promotion program. Membership of the committee is open to all members of the Alliance. Non-members of the Alliance, including the private sector willing to participate in the promotion program, may however be admitted as observers or associate members. In the absence of the chairman, Mr. Joel Bianda from Cameroon, the meeting was chaired by Mr. Dramani Igala, Managing Director of Ghana Cocoa Marketing. Discussion point included in the draft agenda was an update on the virtues of the cocoa database and also the proposed creation of a promotion fund, which is deemed necessary to inform the general public of the benefits of cocoa. Delegates were told the cocoa database will be a useful tool that will provide access for organizations wishing to source positive information on the product.
For the last 2 years, the Secretariat has on a regular basis been updating this database with new information that comes up on the health and nutritional benefits of cocoa and other related issues that lead to the promotion of cocoa consumption. For the 2006-2007 cocoa year, what the Secretariat has done to update the databases with the numerous publications and articles on the virtues of cocoa. On the list is examples of some of the subject headings that most of these things fall under. So as the new information comes up, we put them under those categories, which will make it easy for member countries to actually work with the information that comes, that we put in, that we collected. Now, all this information would eventually be placed on the Copal website, which will make it easy to be accessed. Now, this is how the information in the database looks like. These are 3 examples for acne, cancer, and dental categories. It has the publisher, the title, and then the reference journal or publication, so that an individual could go directly and pick up the article and then use it.
One of the immediate goals that the committee has set themselves is to strongly promote the consumption of cocoa in the continent of Africa. Not an easy task when you take into consideration the fact that Africa as a whole only consumes 3.5% of the cocoa market. However, the committee believe that making the nutritional spin-offs of cocoa widely available would lead to increased consumption. It was felt that creation of a promotion fund will provide stronger financial platform for the marketing of cocoa, and as a result, the committee immediately put forward a motion which will see the inception of a new initiative.
Of a promotion fund for over a 5-year period, and so far the discussions have ended at the level of the General Assembly and not very much has been done. And we felt that maybe it's time we create a proper institutional framework by asking our Council of Ministers to take a decision. The last time we discussed this issue in an extraordinary General Assembly meeting in London, we looked at the possibility of having a $10 million promotion fund. The first reading of the document said countries will contribute in accordance to the way contributions to the administrative budget is paid as pro rata production. And in the second reading, we were talking about voluntary contributions, but there's been no formal creation by the Council of this fund, and we thought that it's time that this was done, especially because after the first summit of heads of state that took place in Abuja in 2006, chaired by the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, he was so bent on promotion that he graciously offered to the Copal Promotion Fund $500,000, $500,000, and in the next 2 weeks we believe those funds will be available to the Copal Secretariat. We will not refuse the funds because we don't have an institutional framework, but we think we should put an institutional framework in place with a council decision. That's why we're proposing this draft. And the draft simply, you have it, I think we have circulated copies, if not, recognizing the great efforts made by modern research on the important nutritional and health benefits of cocoa and its value to our citizenry, taking note that for promoting consumption, taking that the need for promoting consumption is not usually perceived when the market is favorable and not usually budgeted for when the market prices fall. Conscious of the importance of consumption of cocoa towards an equilibrium between demand and supply in the medium to long term, concerned that the average consumption of cocoa among Copal members is extremely low compared to other producing regions in the world, recalling the Abidjan Charter of the Cocoa Producers Alliance 1962 and its objective to promote the expansion of the consumption of cocoa, as well as the creation of the Promotion Committee as a statutory committee of the Alliance, do hereby decide to create a promotion fund, hereafter called the Fund for the Cocoa Producers Alliance. The fund shall be managed by the Secretariat under the supervision of the Promotion Committee. The rules and regulations of the fund shall be approved by the Council of Ministers. So that's the draft we submit for your reading so that we can eventually, through the General Assembly, send it for Council approval.
After the presentations by the promotional committee, each country present took turn to inform the committee on the work being done in their various countries to promote the consumption of cocoa. Cameroon was the first country to give a report. They informed the committee that a technical committee had been set up and had been counting on the lessons from Nigeria and Ghana on the functions of such a committee. The Dominican Republic celebrated the Cocoa Day on the 1st of October. During this day, a lot of activities were organized, including giving out gifts to farmers. As part of the activities, a cocoa marathon is organized every year jointly by manufacturers and producers, offering high premium to winners. This year, 20,000 people took part in this marathon. This and other efficient promotion strategies have resulted in the increase in consumption. Gabon, in their presentation, said a report legislated to set up a national promotion committee had been submitted to the National Assembly for approval. All the same, Gabon had always undertaken promotional activities in partnership with chocolate manufacturers. They made available all chocolate made in Gabon at major functions and participated in chocolate exhibitions in Paris. The president of Gabon is not left out in this promotional campaign. Two main areas have been set as targets in Ghana's promotional campaign. First, to increase local grinding, and secondly, to improve capital consumption in the medium term. To achieve this, Ghana has set a National Cocoa Day on the 1st October every year. On this day, various activities are organized around the country for cocoa farmers. Also, 14th February has been declared a National Chocolate Day, where people are encouraged to give locally made chocolates as gifts to loved ones. The Ghanaian delegate went further to say that the government has introduced cocoa drinks on menus of schools as part of the school feeding program and is looking at doing likewise in the military and the police. Finally, the Ghanaian delegation said Ghana is encouraging more research and promotion of health benefits of cocoa. The Malaysian delegate said his country has been intensively promoting cocoa since 2001. They have organized international commodity trade fairs where cocoa had played a key role. Also, the country is using the media, example cookery programs and discussions on television, to educate the people of the benefit of consuming cocoa. The government has also used education through schools to encourage consumption of the crop. Nigeria, in their presentation, stated that the government was very much in support of the promotion of cocoa. To this, the government had made available to the Promotion Council 48 million naira. He said the Promotion Council has organized to date 3 Cocoa National Days, formed partnership with the health organizations in Nigeria to promote the health benefits of the crop, organized media and literacy campaigns, as well as organized educational campaigns through schools. From Cote d'Ivoire, the delegation said promotion has been going on since 2002. There is a promotion committee that oversees this activity, and some of the action they had taken to date included placing of chocolate kiosks around schools and other public areas in the country. They have trained sales personnel who work in market centers to encourage consumption of the crop. Finally, the delegates said the government initiative to encourage consumption of cocoa has led to the Farmers' Chocolate concept, which is aimed at producing chocolate locally, and the observation of a National Cocoa Day. Togo's delegation in their presentation said there were a number of promotional activities through youth and sports activities. They were also collaborating with Malaysia to develop a promotional strategy for 2008. At the end of the presentation and report, the members of the promotion committee adopted the report for the submission to the General Assembly. On the second day of the Copal conference in Accra, the Economic Committee, an institution which presides over and analyzes the global state of the cocoa economy, met up to report back and discuss current trends and also to forecast future changes in the market. The committee meeting was chaired by Mr. Charles Inti, Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board. On the agenda was an updated review of the world cocoa economy presented by Mr. Michael Owusumenu, Head of Economics Department at the Copal Secretariat, followed by a report by Mr. Kaba, Deputy Secretary General of Copal, on a review of the ICCO estimates forecast of cocoa production, grindings and price from 2006-07 to 2011-2012.
In terms of trends, the global grindings generally increased by about 16.8% from 2002-2003 to 2006-2007. Europe saw an increase of about 13%, Africa by 11.4%, America 6.7%, and Asia and Oceania 35.7%, evidenced by huge increases in Singapore and Malaysia. As regards Copal member countries, total grindings increased by about 25%, and the share of Copal's output as regards to world total went from 25.6% to 27.8%. Malaysia had an 80% increase in grindings over the review period, Ghana 33.3%, Nigeria showed 84% by activating some idle capacity. Then we have 5.1% increase in Brazil. Now this shows the trend in grindings. I've said over the years, grindings has been increasing consistently. And when you look at the year-on-year change, it follows the same trend. Now this shows the grindings by region. So Europe being the highest for all the years. Europe has been the region with the highest grinding levels, followed by the Americas, and then Asia, Oceania, and then Africa.
The Secretariat stressed the point that management of stock levels is of major importance if the sector is to continue to develop, outlining that the area of supply and demand must be closely monitored, with the modernization of farming practices being a large part of the puzzle.
So the world cocoa production is likely to continue with the upward trend. Now, this is because of national policies geared towards increased production, better husbandry practices, favorable world prices in the past, which usually leads to farmers undertaking better husbandry practices, improvement in the control of pests and diseases, utilization of higher yielding cultivars, and expansion in area under cultivation. Also, consumption is increasing at a faster pace than production, and this was depicted on the graph that brought all the pieces together. And another factor is the information or the new scientific findings on the health benefits of cocoa, which is leading to an increase in consumption of cocoa even in the traditional markets.
The first scenario is what we call a do-nothing scenario, and the other one is the 34% stock grinding ratio to be reached by the year 2011-2012. You look at the scenario 1, growth in world cocoa production is estimated to be about 2% per annum. World cocoa production projected to reach 4.109 million tons by 2011-2012. Growth in world cocoa consumption was estimated to increase by 2.4% per annum, and the world cocoa grinding is projected to reach 4.137 million tons by the 2011-2012. World cocoa consumption will be sustained by growth in world economy, which is expected to grow at 4.8% per annum. End of season stock will reach 1,887,000 tons by 2011-2012, and then by that time the stock grinding ratio will reach about 46%. And the annual cocoa prices was stated as SDR 1226, which is 20506 SDR constant price. So this is the table. Scenario 2. If you want to achieve 34% as what we have agreed under the 93 cocoa agreement, which was I thought even carried over to the 201 agreement, but we don't have that production management plan. But we have the market committee to dwell into the aspect of supply demand, and for the committee to recommend to member countries to take actions. So I believe they still use the 34% stock granule ratio as a measure of equilibrium between supply and demand. So you look at the scenario 2 there. According to the ICCO analysis, 230,000 tons of cocoa bean will have to be withdrawn for the market to be able to achieve the target stock to granule ratio of 34%. This is what we call, or at least the Copal Secretariat call, sustainable market equilibrium, 34%, at least at the moment. To ensure that this scenario can be achieved or realized, the Copal Secretariat makes the following broad recommendations. Manage supply, I think we have been talking about this number of times, to make sure that the supply will be in accordance with the trend in demand or consumption, and a minimum of at least 200,000 tons as a target to be eliminated from the world market every year. Second option is increase grinding and consumption of cocoa and other cocoa products, especially in origin countries and emerging markets, taking into account the recent developments on the health and nutritional benefit of cocoa through generic cocoa promotion program. We have been talking about this, but so far we have never talked about figures. We talk about actions, but no targets. We are, if we can use the ICCO data as a basis, then maybe we can adopt that 230,000 ton as our target for the year to be what they call this, to be withdrawn from the market through aggressive promotion and whatever means we can implement.
However, market trends were not the only talking points at the committee. As always, child labor and the definition of which continued to spark debate within the cocoa sector. This led to the Copal representative affirming the group's stance on child labor.
Child labor has become a topical issue that is recurrent at every cocoa fora you go to, and that's what we were trying to refer to here, not to endorse or to say that it does exist. And since somebody else has brought up the issue of child labor, I think, with your permission, maybe I should just comment on it for a couple of minutes. Child labor, or worse forms of child labor, exists in several sectors: clothing, mining, maybe fishing. Cocoa, in my opinion, was the wrong example because it is not as prevalent. Even the study that was done by IITA to identify the occurrence of child labor, the correlation was not positive in the analysis that was done by Jim Gakowski of IITA. That's the first point. The second point is that as far back as 2001 in Ilhéus, Bahia in Brazil, the Council of Ministers of Copal took a declaration condemning the worst forms of child labor and asked each of our member countries to approve or to ratify the ILO convention. And if we're talking about child labor, Mr. Chairman, we should always try to mention that we're talking about the worst forms of child labor. It has nothing to do with child work, because ILO 142 says that children should not be exposed to hazardous work involving child trafficking, in pornography, ILO 182, I'm sorry, pornography, forced labor, or activities that would prevent them from, enjoying their childhood and going to school.
The next committee to meet was the Administrative and Finance Committee. This committee was chaired by Mr. William Mensah from Ghana. The Administrative and Finance Committee is created as a statutory committee of Copal, charged with functions including assuring the proper application of administrative rules of the Alliance in their entirety, and in particular questions related to human resource, headquarters and meeting of the Alliance. Examining the management and financial resources of the organization, in particular to analyze the financial situation, examine the balance sheet and account of the Alliance, the report of the auditors notice the draft budget and make recommendations to the General Assembly, assisting the Secretariat in the management of the assets of the organization.
Before we go into the proper audited account, we want to look at the summary of the audited financial statement. The audited financial statement of Cocoa Producers Alliance as at 30 September 2006 was prepared by a firm of chartered accountants which is based in Lagos. And the relevant sections of the charter, administrative rules, as well as financial regulations were followed.
Today we looked at the audited administrative accounts. It was indicated to us that the accounts have been prepared and it shows a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the Alliance as of 30th September 2006. We also took the internal auditor's report from our distinguished auditor from Togo. He indicated that the accounts and then the workings of the Alliance are in accordance with the regulations that are set up the Alliance. Then also we looked at the payment of contributions to the administrative budget for 2006-07 cocoa year and also outstanding contributions. One thing that came out clearly was the fact that members who have outstanding contributions to make are encouraged to do so.
At the end of the presentation and report, Cameroon moved for the adoption of the report and was seconded by Dominican Republic. At the end of the group conferences held by the individual committees, the General Assembly came together to be briefed on what had taken place over the course of those meetings, allowing stakeholders the opportunity to closely monitor and ratify any development which they may not have been aware of. The General Assembly consists of all the members of the Alliance. There is a chairman, a vice chairman, and an internal auditor. They are responsible to and work under the general direction of the Council of Ministers. It ensures the proper and efficient running of the affairs of the Alliance. The discussion commenced with approving without amendment of the draft agenda set by the Economic Committee and an overview of the Promotion Committee report, which communicated the different ways that cocoa was promoted by the national committees throughout the globe.
The scientific committee's overview included feedback and a plethora of work being done within research initiatives for the improvement of the quality of cocoa. Among the schemes reported on is a report on the workshop on improvement of the quality of cocoa and the examination and adoption of the Scientific Research Department's activity report for 2006 and 2007. Following on from the scientific committee was a presentation on items included in the Finance and Admin Forum, where concerns were expressed over high costs in electricity bills, medical and car maintenance. As a result, budget cuts were recommended. Other financial and admin considerations which needed to be thought through were the proposed membership of Copal members within the ICCO and the intended move of headquarters from London to Cote d'Ivoire.
On the final day of the week-long conference, the Council of Ministers of Copal met under the chairmanship of His Excellency Charles Ugwu, Minister of Commerce from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to discuss and adopt the work of the various committees submitted through the General Assembly as their working document for the year 2007-08. The Council of Ministers is the supreme authority and consists of all the members of the Alliance. It has a chairman and a vice chairman. These offices rotate annually among the members of the Alliance.
Welcome once again to Accra International Conference Center, where the 70th Copal General Assembly and Council of Ministers meeting is taking place. Today the opening address would be by Honorable Minister Ernest Deborah, Agriculture Minister, and there will also be election of chairman and vice chairman of the 2007-2008 cocoa year. There will also be General Assembly on the deliberation and recommendation adopted by the General Assembly.
In his opening address, the Deputy Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Ghana, Honorable Professor George Jan Bafo, had this to say.
In this 50th year of our independence, we have been lucky in attracting these meetings. We thank you all for this wonderful gesture and show of solidarity with our country. Colleague ministers, your presence at this meeting assures us of the importance of the Cocoa Producers Alliance, in fact, to our respective countries. We should strive to increase our influence in the world cocoa economy by our commitment to the ideals of this alliance. Ladies and gentlemen, in this wise, I wish to thank all participants who have come here to join in the deliberations of Copal. I will also want to take advantage of this platform to urge all non-member states to join us to maximize the advantage that such an alliance presents. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to seize the opportunity to congratulate the various executives of the 4 committees for their hard work and also urge the incoming ones to be guided by the objectives of Copal. On behalf of the government and people of Ghana, especially cocoa industry players, I warmly welcome you to the 2007 Council of Ministers meeting and to the city of Accra.
After the finance minister's speech, the chairman of the General Assembly, Dr. Jose Antonio Martinez Rojas from the Dominican Republic, also had this to say.
For many years, the problems both the cocoa producer as well as the people determining the prices, we have had problems in all these areas. We also discussed prices. We had opportunity to add value to cocoa. This time in international meetings like this one, we have the opportunity to take a common position, to adopt a common position. Up to now, this has been a weakness of cocoa producers. We have never had a common stand, whereas the consumers have a common stand. In addition to this, they are numberless, the consumers are numberless. We believe that these kinds of fora will give us opportunities to exchange opinions and above all compare and discuss the problems that we have with a view to improving our agricultural industry. We were saying that the alliance has opportunity. The alliance has all the opportunity to transform itself in this great forum and to improve conditions in producing countries. Each time when we meet, we are great producers of cocoa, and here we are not a member of the International Cocoa Organization. So our General Secretary, I'm employing our General Secretary so that when he goes to such meetings, he will speak for cocoa producing countries, so that together we will be able to chalk some successes, so that we'll have higher prices. But at least we can have the certitude that people will have to pay remunerative prices for our cocoa that they buy. In every commercial activity there must be certitude. But in agriculture, I don't know which countries are doing well, but at least we, third world countries, do do not have guaranteed prices. So this is something negative which directly influences our prices also. In the discussions that we had, we tackled most of the problems facing us in the cocoa world. We hope that after this forum, and I'll with the final report, when the new cocoa agreement comes into effect, I hope that we will be able to adopt a common position to fight for the welfare of all the producers of cocoa. Thank you very much.
Next to speak at the opening ceremony was the Chairman of the Council of Ministers, His Excellency Charles Ogo.
I also wish to appreciate and commend His Excellency Mr. President John Kufuor, President of the Federal Republic of Ghana, and the government and people of Ghana for accepting to host the 70th General Assembly and Council of Ministers meeting even when Nigeria is supposed to be chairing the Copal Council for the 2006 and 2007 cocoa year. You will recall that we just concluded a transition program that culminated in the inauguration of a new administration in Nigeria on May 29th, 2007, and it was this that affected a lot of events in Nigeria and made it necessary for us perhaps to request the hosting of this event in Ghana. Cocoa is a very important commodity to our respective economies, given that millions of families derive their livelihood from its production, processing, warehousing, transportation, marketing of that commodity. The fact that Copal members produce about 90% of the world cocoa even makes the sustainability of cocoa production very crucial to the economies of all member countries. In this regard, let me specifically commend President John Kufuor of Ghana for taking steps recently to guarantee producer prices for local cocoa farmers in Ghana in a way that protects them from the vagaries of international market volatilities. This is indeed a very good initiative, having regard to the importance of cocoa in the lives of the people. On its part, Nigeria is taking definite steps aimed at repositioning the status of cocoa in the economy. For instance, government is becoming more interested on issues related to cocoa production, local consumption, marketing, especially the emerging markets of China, India, and South Africa, and in processing, particularly with emphasis on value addition. We have also undertaken aggressive publicity aimed at promoting the health and nutritional benefits of cocoa. Most of these are contained in information bulletins being produced and circulated by the government. It is particularly important to draw attention to the enormous potential which China represents, and therefore Copal should target China as a major market to break into. Indeed, it is worthwhile to consider appointing a specialist or a consultant to provide detailed advisory on this, as well as other emerging markets. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we may never reap the full benefits if we continue to export our cocoa in the crude form as it is presently the case. There is need to promote value addition to this commodity, especially as a way to earn more revenue. On its part, Nigeria has started promoting the production of cocoa powder in collaboration with the private sector. Very shortly also, we intend to establish industrial parks, industrial clusters, and enterprise zones with infrastructure as a way to attract investors to set up manufacturing companies to process most of our primary products, including cocoa. Nigeria is equally committed to the promotion of consumption of cocoa. As a demonstration of this, government has approved a sum of $500,000 through the promotion fund of Copal, which was approved by this council. We hope that other member states will follow suit. We are also concerned about the indiscriminate use of pesticides in cocoa production. This is in cognizance of the possible negative implications that it is bound to have on public and environmental health. Hence, we have set up a Ministerial Action Committee on pesticide residue and usage in cocoa to ensure that pesticides are used rationally and that maximum residue limits are set and observed, while farmers are taught good agricultural practices. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, there may be no better time than now for us to take a more critical look at the issue of supply management of cocoa products. We cannot reap maximum benefits, neither can we control the price of cocoa in the international market if we do not regulate and control the price of cocoa in the international market. It is important that we manage the supply of the commodity to the market to ensure stable delivery, stable supplies, without causing any major dislocations that will lead to price collapse. This may therefore be the time for us to revisit the production management plan which was approved in Libreville a few years ago. Nigeria is exploring the utilization of commodity exchange in this regard, and we will suggest similar to those countries who are able to do so. Nigeria has not gone back on its commitment to provide befitting residential accommodation for the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General of Copal in Lagos. I'm sorry that there was some delay, but in no distant time, this promise will be realized. Let me at this juncture appreciate the efforts of our team of technocrats and the various committees who have worked around the clock to ensure that we have the recommendations being presented to this Council for ratification today. I also wish to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity given to me to serve as chairman of this important Council. No doubt, I could not have done anything without your support and cooperation. Finally, I wish to thank the President of Ghana. I'm really excited and pleased to see the beautiful city of Accra, and I commend the President for the way that he's running the country and for the quality of life that I see here. I commend you, my Ghana brothers. I would also like to thank the Secretary General for his hard work and for his commitment to our success. So I look forward to the conclusions that will come through from this meeting of the Council of Ministers. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me. Thank you.
After the speech by the chairman of the Council of Ministers, delegates from the various Copal countries represented at the conference were invited to make declarations.
Speaking on behalf of the special guest of honor, His Excellency President J. Kufuor, President of the Republic of Ghana, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Ghana, Honorable Ernest Deborah, had this to say.
Member countries resolved to undertake various activities to ensure sustainability of the cocoa economy in Africa, owing to its great potential in providing employment, generating revenue, and contributing to food and nutritional security, among others. Further, the summit resolved to strengthen international cooperation among African cocoa producers and also encourage African countries who are not yet members to join the Cocoa Producers Alliance. This clearly demonstrates the confidence of members in Copal's ability to ensure sustainable cocoa economy. Again, in recent times, members have been following with keen interest the ongoing debate about the negotiations with the European Union on the new Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, that will replace the Cotonou Agreement. It is imperative that Copal member countries remain united in speaking against the imposition of tariffs on cocoa products such as cocoa powder and cocoa butter that be exported to the EU countries. This is without doubt consistent with the objectives which the founding members of Copal set for themselves. It is also one way of ensuring sustainability of the cocoa economy in member countries. Chairman, it may again be recalled that just before this Copal meeting, Ghana hosted a roundtable meeting of the International Cocoa Organization, during which participants in 3 focus groups representing governments, private sector, and farmers discussed ways to enhance the sustainability of the global cocoa economy. Some of the core issues that were identified and which must be given serious attention during our deliberation this morning include harmonization of quality standards among cocoa producing countries, payment of remunerative prices to farmers, maintaining unity among member nations of Copal, processing and consumption of more cocoa at the origin, adherence to good agronomic practices, and adoption of good labor practices in cocoa farms geared towards elimination of the worst forms of child labor. Ladies and gentlemen, if we prioritized these objectives in our respective national development agenda, I believe we would be heading towards fulfilling the dreams of the founding members of the Cocoa Producers Alliance and helping to reduce poverty among a large section of the cocoa growing communities in our various countries. We in Ghana consider cocoa as an important legacy handed to us by our forefathers and which must be nurtured for both current and future generations. Sustainability of the cocoa economy therefore lies at the heart of our development efforts towards achieving a better life for our people, especially the millions of smallholder farmers engaged in cocoa farming. We pledge to cooperate with members of the Copal to achieve our common objectives, and in this regard, Mr. Chairman, I can assure all the ministers and delegates present here that they can always rely on Ghana. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I declare the Copal Council of Ministers meeting formally opened and wish you very fruitful deliberations. Thank you, and may God bless us all.